The Roman Empire, mighty, unstoppable, eternal. Or so everyone thought. It began as a dream carved in stone and blood, built by men who believed they could tame the world itself. From the burning sands of Africa to the frozen forests of Germania, the Roman eagle cast its shadow over millions. But empires are like men, born in ambition, raised in glory, and doomed by their own pride. This is not just the story of how Rome ruled the world, it's the story of how it lost it. The morning sun rises over the 7 hills of Rome, glinting off marble temples and golden domes. Senators in flowing togas stride confidently through the forum, their sandals clicking on ancient stones polished by centuries of power. Merchants shout prices in a dozen languages, slaves carry amphorae of wine, and in the distance the great Colosseum looms, a monument to Rome's might and madness. People cheer for blood, and blood they shall have. For in Rome, even death was entertainment. Yet, behind the spectacle and the glory, something begins to rot. Power corrupts slowly, like a crack in marble that spreads until the whole column falls. Greed seeps into every corner of society. Senators buy votes, generals betray alliances, emperors rise and fall faster than the sun can set. One moment a ruler is hailed as a god, the next he's dragged through the streets by his own guards. But the true destruction of Rome did not come from a single sword or battle. It came from within, from the very heart of the empire. Once, Roman citizens were proud, united by discipline, law, and duty.
We will not stand for this injustice.
Your will is absolute, Emperor.
They built roads, aqueducts, and cities that still stand today. They brought order where chaos once ruled. But over time, comfort replaced courage. The children of conquerors became spectators, more interested in games than in greatness. Bread and circuses kept them quiet, while their leaders grew fat on gold and corruption. In the Senate, voices rose not for justice, but for profit. Bribes flowed like wine. Loyalty became something you could buy. The Roman army, once the most feared force on earth, turned into a business. Soldiers no longer fought for Rome. They fought for whoever paid them most. Foreign mercenaries filled the ranks, men who spoke different languages, worshipped different gods, and felt nothing for the empire they defended. When Rome needed them most, they would turn and walk away. Beyond the borders, the world was changing. The barbarian tribes that Rome had once crushed were no longer scattered or weak. They watched, they learned, and they waited. While Rome feasted, its enemies sharpened their blades. In distant forests and mountains, whispers of rebellion grew louder. The Goths, the Vandals, the Huns, names that would one day be spoken with fear, were gathering like storm clouds on the horizon. And yet, the emperors of Rome were blind. They built more statues, held more festivals, and taxed their people to the bone to pay for luxuries. Gold flowed out of the empire faster than it came in. Inflation soared. A loaf of bread that once cost a few coins now demanded a handful. Ordinary citizens starved while the rich built palaces lined with marble and silver. The gap between the classes widened until it became an unbridgeable chasm. The people no longer trusted their leaders, and the leaders no longer cared for their people. The soul of Rome began to fracture. Religion, too, played its part. In its early days, Rome's gods reflected its spirit, strong, diverse, unyielding. But as Christianity spread through the empire, old beliefs clashed with new faith. Temples were torn down, idols smashed, and neighbors turned against each other in the name of heaven. The empire that once united a continent was now divided by belief. Even within the palace walls, the emperor's advisors plotted and poisoned each other, claiming divine purpose while seeking only power. Civil wars erupted again and again. Brothers fought brothers. Armies that should have defended Rome burned its provinces instead. Cities that once sent tribute now sent rebellion. Rome's borders shrank, its strength bled away, and its glory faded into memory. And yet, there were still moments of greatness. Emperors like Diocletian tried to restore order. Constantine moved the capital east to Byzantium, hoping to save the empire by giving it a new heart. For a while, it worked. The Eastern Empire would endure for centuries more. But the West, the Rome of Caesar and Augustus, of gladiators and grandeur, was dying. The barbarians finally came, not as raiders but as conquerors. The Visigoths under Alaric marched through the gates of Rome in 410 AD. The unthinkable had happened, the Eternal City had fallen. For the first time in 800 years, Rome was conquered not by an army of men, but by its own decay. When the flames consumed its temples and the gold was carried away, the world realized that even gods can fall. But was it truly the barbarians who destroyed Rome? Or had Rome destroyed itself long before the first spear struck its walls? The real answer lies not in a single event, but in centuries of slow decline. Corruption, greed, division, arrogance. Each chipped away at the foundations until there was nothing left to stand on. Rome was a victim of its own success. It became too big, too rich, too proud to see that no empire lasts forever. As its power grew, so did its weaknesses. The citizens stopped fighting for Rome because Rome no longer fought for them. The soldiers stopped defending it because it had stopped defending what was right. The leaders stopped leading, and the people stopped believing. And so, an empire that once ruled the known world vanished like dust in the wind. Yet the story doesn't end in ashes. Because even in its fall, Rome gave birth to something new. Its laws became the foundation of modern government. Its architecture shaped cities for millennia. Its stories of courage, betrayal, and ambition still live on in every language, every nation. The fall of Rome was not the end of civilization. It was its rebirth. Out of its ruins came new kingdoms, new ideas, new worlds. The spirit of Rome never truly died. It lives in the roads beneath our feet, in the columns that still stand against time, in the dream that one people could unite the world. But the lesson remains carved into history. Power without purpose is poison. Wealth without wisdom leads only to ruin. And when a people forget what made them great, their fall is only a matter of time. As the last emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was dethroned in 476 AD, the sun set over the empire that had once claimed to be eternal. The streets of Rome grew quiet, the fires dimmed, the marble cracked. But if you stand today among the ruins, close your eyes and listen carefully, you can still hear it. The echo of distant cheers, the clash of swords, the roar of the Colosseum. The spirit of Rome whispers still. It asks the same question we must all face. What truly destroys an empire? The sword of an enemy, or the heart of its own people? The answer perhaps lies not in the past, but in us. Word